Hey guys, welcome back to Trust Me It's Worth It. I'm Emily.
And I'm Mike.
This week it is our Christmas special, so don't forget to follow us on Spotify, on YouTube, on Instagram and on Twitter at Trust Me It's Worth It podcast. So this week, because it's our Christmas special, I am bringing a movie which, one, I'm ashamed you've not watched yet, and two, I'm ashamed I even have to describe it. You should just love it. And that is Die Hard, the best Christmas movie ever.
I mean, I think I have maybe seen Die Hard. I've seen bits of it. It's been on TV loads. I've definitely seen chunks of it. I just don't know if I've ever seen it in one go. You know what I mean? You know, you've seen a film
No, it's
like
completely unacceptable. Like, I can get that with other films, like if it's a rubbish one, but this is Die Hard. I'll give it that, you know, the Die Hards do slowly but surely kind of go slightly downhill, but this is the best one.
The original Die Hard.
The original Die Hard. But tell me what you're getting me to watch, and then we'll battle it out.
So I was trying to think of a Christmas film that you hadn't seen. You know, obviously there's the standard Richard Curtis ones like Love Actually and stuff. But
I'm a big Christmas film fan, so that is hard.
yeah, but I realised you haven't seen. We've brought it up before. You haven't seen the Gremlins.
Is the Gremlins a Christmas film?
It's set at Christmas, so I'm going to count it, yeah. And I have to admit, I haven't seen this film in a very long time, so I'd be up for rewatching it because I don't remember everything that happens in it. My main memory of this film is watching it with my sister when we were probably only about 8 years old or something, and there was a power cut, and we thought my dad had done it because it was like just a scary point of the film, and we thought my dad had turned the lights off and like turned it off to scare us, and we like shouted at my dad, and he was like, "Hey, it wasn't me, it was a power cut." It's coming in with like a candle. But yeah, we both screamed. That's my main memory of the Gremlins. So yeah, a Christmas film. I mean, the fact that you've not seen that is pretty atrocious as well, because that's a very famous film.
I suppose it is, but again, it's not Die Hard. I'm going to explain Die Hard first, because I don't
Yeah.
think it needs explaining. It's Die Hard. So, for those of you that haven't seen it, and if you haven't and you're listening to this, you need to watch it. It's about John McClane, which is played by Bruce Willis. And it's him going to reconcile with like his wife. They've been having a few arguments at her Christmas party, which is in this big tower owned by, I think it's a Japanese company. And just as he gets there, he goes away to change. And then the terrorists come in, they're German terrorists, German terrorists, played by the coolest villain, I think, of all time, Alan Rickman.
Wasn't this his big break as well? Wasn't this
Yeah.
his like big first
This
role?
was like his big thing, Alan Rickman being the cool bad guy. And luckily, McClane gets away, but they take the rest of the hostages. And then the next, 2 hours is him essentially trying to help people because he's the only one inside the building that's not a hostage, apart from the limo driver in the basement,
Right.
which does come into play. So it's a lot of shooting. It's Bruce Willis being super cool and taking their people hostage and just messing around with them a bit, and just Alan Rickman. Obviously, you see him as Professor Snape in Harry Potter. You see him in Love Actually. And he just plays so many diverse characters. And then you see him in this, which obviously is his first, big role. And he's actually very terrifying. He's so cool.
I can see that. I'm looking forward to hearing his German accent. I mean, like I said, I have seen bits of it. I have seen him in the role.
Yeah, essentially them just trying to steal, I think it's $460 million from this company. And they're pretending it's a terrorist attack when actually they just
Right.
want to steal the money.
Oh, spoilers.
Don't worry, it's not giving spoilers away. But yeah, it's a lot of shooting. It's very high action.
So what's Bruce Willis's character's like? How come he's so good at going?
Oh,
through
so
and shooting?
he's a policeman.
Well, that's a key part
That's
you
a
missed
key
out
part.
there.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I think this is what essentially Skyscraper, which we watched the other week,
God,
copies, which is is that The Rock going
Yeah,
up
of
like the
course it
tallest
is, yeah.
building in the world. Essentially, this is that, but better because it's the original.
I think there've been loads of films like this. Actually, this premise of like one man with gun goes through an area.
Oh
To be
yeah,
fair, the part of Speed is a bit like that, isn't it? The Keanu Reeves film.
yeah, that's
It's a
true.
little bit like
yeah.
that.
This one was made in 1988 though, so it's quite an old film.
yeah.
It is the original, and there is about 5 Die Hards now.
But the original Die Hard is the best.
The original Die Hard is the best. It's a
I just
great
ask?
Christmas film.
Who dies and who dies the hardest?
I mean, I feel like it'd be a spoiler if I gave away who died the hardest.
But what is a Die Hard? Why is it called Die Hard? Does somebody die in a
Because
very
it's
hard
always
way?
a good day to die hard.
I don't.
I think that actually
I don't
is.
get it. Please explain the joke.
Sweetie, if you don't get it, you're just not intelligent enough. And I can't help with that. But yeah, it's a great film.
Sorry, can I just also interject here? What would be your favourite way to die hard? Like how hard? Like a crushed pelvis? Is that dying hard?
No, I think that's just dying painfully. Apparently, sorry, the tagline, apparently it was numerous, but One of the taglines is 12 terrorists, 1 cop. The odds are against John McClane. That's just the way he likes it.
Oh, 12 against 1. Okay. Well, we'll move on and I'll talk about Gremlins.
I don't think I need to explain it anymore. It's amazing. You're going to love it. It can't not win.
Okay. So Gremlins is another sort of pseudo Christmas film. Like Die Hard qualifying as a Christmas film is one of those. It's a Christmas film technically because the director said it was.
Well, it sets at Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
What else situates a Christmas film?
It doesn't have many of the themes of Christmas though.
There's a Christmas tree.
Oh, well, there we are then. Fair enough. Well, Gremlins is sort of in a similar vein, to be fair, because it's a comedy horror film made in 1984.
Can we just pause there? How is a comedy horror film a Christmas film?
Because it's like a black comedy, you know?
Right.
It's set at Christmas as well. So the character, Billy, I think his name is, he gets given a mogwai, which is the gremlin, and he calls him Gizmo, and he's quite cute. He's a cute little fluffy little thing. We've definitely seen toys of him in shops, and I've pointed them out.
He is cute. I mean, he's not Baby Yoda cute, but
No,
he's
he's
cute.
not quite Baby Yoda cute. Well, obviously we wouldn't have watched
Well, no, but I've
Mandalorian,
seen
would we?
pictures of him online.
Because it would be illegal for us to.
Well, that's not what I was saying. I was saying I've seen a picture on Facebook because it's pretty widely shared right now. My
fair.
God, chill out, man. The police aren't knocking on the door just yet.
I'm waiting for the SWAT team to smash through the window. Just an amendment.
Get it? She knows Baby Yoda.
She knows. Sorry. So he gets given a pet gremlin by his dad, who is on a work trip to China and buys this strange creature. And then there are 3 rules about it. It's don't feed it after midnight, don't get it wet, and I think don't expose it to sunlight because that'll kill it. And then, of course, he gets it wet, feeds it after midnight, and all this stuff happens, and it spawns like other gremlins that are evil, and they go off to do mischief, and that's where the sort of horror aspects come in.
I mean, I'm not like, that sounds incredibly interesting, but I'm more just worried about the dad that goes to China and goes, oh yeah, this mythical creature, my son would love that for Christmas.
I think-
Solid dad, 10 out of 10, present work there.
Again, I don't remember this film super well, so I'm really looking forward to rewatching it. But I think it's sort of because it is kind of a comedy, it's just people are like, we're Americans and we're just doing things. So I think that's probably a big chunk of it. But it's a really fun film, it's a good romp, if I remember rightly. And like I said, I watched this as a kid, and I remember thinking it wasn't super scary or anything. It was just, like spooky for a kid, but I watched it and enjoyed it. And I thought
I'm intrigued.
the Gremlins, I think some of them, I think they're all, most of it's puppetry.
Okay.
But they look pretty cool. Gizmo's really cute. But yeah, I can't give too much away because again, I actually don't remember the end of it. But I just know it's a good film. I remember enjoying it. It's really well reviewed. It's a classic, and it's set at Christmas, so perfect film to choose.
Well, there we go. I feel like I have to give you an ultimatum, like you did for me in week 1. Oh no, it wasn't even that. That was in our pilot that never got shown. Maybe one day we'll put that out.
We'll release the pilot.
One day. But there was an ultimatum in that, in which you're like, if you don't like the show, you have no sense of humour and we're going to have to break up. I feel like if you don't like Die Hard, there's something seriously wrong with you and we need to re-establish our relationship.
Oh, Die Hard's that film for you? Okay.
Yes.
I think, it sounds cool. Like I said, I've seen bits of it. It's a standard action movie. You do quite like the, not dumb action movie, because it's not dumb, but just straightforward.
Very rude against John McClane.
Straightforward. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Shooty, bang, bang.
Shooty, bang, bang. Get it done in an hour and a half. In fact, how long is this film?
Admittedly, this film is just over 2 hours.
That seems weirdly long for me for this sort of film.
Well, it's a 44-storey building, Mike. He's got to start at the bottom and work his way up.
Real time, just him jogging upstairs.
Just him jogging upstairs. He's fit, but he's not that fit.
Yeah,
He's got to take breaks.
He's checking his Fitbit every now and again to see how many steps he's
Okay,
done.
I'm excited to watch these. Shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
go ahead in this week, which is our Christmas special, which is Die Hard versus
Gremlins.
Hey guys, welcome back to our Christmas special. If you aren't already, please do follow us on all of our social media and on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you are listening to us from. That would be great. But obviously, as you know, we have just finished Die Hard and Gremlins.
Yeah, so because we set the rules originally that we were going to watch just an hour each so we had like a concise amount of time to the podcast in. We've done that today. We watched an hour of Die Hard, an hour of Gremlins. And I think potentially people have said to us, for films maybe it doesn't work as well because if a movie's like an hour and a half, you may as well just watch it to the end. I think we might start doing that in future episodes.
Yeah.
But for now, we're just sticking to this format. For one thing, it might give us an opportunity to revisit these films and talk about them again later. We can do like another episode where we like catch up on what we did
For
finish
sure.
watching. So, and I think with these we might end up at least finishing watching one of them, I reckon.
If not both, yeah. So I think we should dive straight in. Shall I go first?
Yeah, we just finished watching our hour of Gremlins.
Hour of Gremlins, and I have never seen any part of Gremlins before.
What do you think?
I really enjoyed it. I started off like, oh yeah, classic Christmas film. Oh, so wholesome, so nice. It is very old timey. It starts with the guy talking about himself on the street corner.
It's quite pantomime, actually, isn't it? It's
very pantomime.
I didn't realise how much of a what's the word? It's more of a satire, really. It's more of a piss take film.
It
What's the
does
word
remind
for
me
that?
of sort of
Scary
like
Movie or something?
nearly when it first sets out. It does remind me of the old, I don't know, like black and white Christmas film.
It's a parody. That's the word. Sorry, yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of a parody of horror and Christmas films in a way. It like mashes them together in kind of a funny
Because
way.
when you start out, you think, oh yeah, this could be good for a kids' film. It's very natural. Gizmo is, oh my gosh, adorable. Okay, not quite as adorable as Baby Yoda, but we'll get past that.
He's pretty cute. Yeah.
He is adorable. And so the 3 rules, if I'm getting these right, are you can't feed them after midnight, no matter how much they cry. You can't get them wet, and they really don't like light, especially sunlight, because it kills them.
Yeah.
Which I feel, now thinking back on it, may come into play later.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it will.
I really enjoyed it. Annoyingly, so it always gets annoying with this. This is why we might wind up watching the whole film. Is for the first hour, no matter where you get to, you have to stop, which was very frustrating for me here. Because for those of you who haven't seen it, and I don't want to spoil it, but I feel like it's going to happen.
I don't think it's really a spoiler. Like, everyone will know that obviously they get wet or fed after midnight or whatever, and then some nefarious things go down.
And they become very mischievous, and then after mischief, just brutal. And it's literally, it turns into almost like The Shining with a knife.
Yeah, so getting Gizmo wet, that makes him spawn other little mogwais, other little gremlin creatures.
And he also looks very uncomfortable as he's doing this, bless
He's
him.
like writhing around as these little balls pop off his back that spawn into new ones. I remember that scene quite distinctly. I don't know why. I think it's just this weird, the idea of a little fluffy ball flying off something, and that's how it breeds.
I think there are some adorable moments with Gizmo, like because he sings, which is almost kind of like a whistle, which is adorable. When what's his name, Billy is playing the piano and he's mimicking it.
Oh yeah, it's
That is very adorable. And to be fair, the character of Billy is very interesting because when I started watching this, I assumed Billy would be school age, would be a child, a bit like Toy Soldiers is what I imagined.
Okay.
And that's not true. He's a bank clerk?
Yeah, I think he's meant to be like early 20s, isn't he? His mate, though. This film's quite funny, actually. I didn't sort of realise how funny it was going to be that his mate's like, I'm 23 and I'm a vice president of a bank already. By the time I'm 30, I'll be a millionaire. What are you doing with your life, kid? What's that guy about? But Billy's also best mate seems to be about 12 years old.
Yeah, I was about to
The
say.
kid that sells Christmas trees.
The kid that sells Christmas trees in a giant Christmas tree outfit, which I love. But he's also the kid from the Goonies. I was like,
I've not seen
there
the
he is.
Goonies, actually. Maybe we'll add that to the
that
list.
needs to be added to the list. Some of the characters are great. One of them, I don't know what her name is, but I'm going to call her Mrs. Scrooge.
Oh, yeah, she pretty much is.
She pretty much is Mrs. Scrooge. And the first comment I put was, evil woman wants to put dog in her washing machine. I hate her. Essentially, she assumes that this dog has like broken her Christmas decorations and she's having a meltdown about it. And is like, if you don't give me your dog to take to the shelter to put down, which is evil enough in itself, she's like, I'm going to take him and I can do worse. And Billy stupidly says, what could be worse?
She ticks all the Cruella de Vil evil boxes.
my
She's
gosh,
very much
yeah.
a pantomime stereotype villain.
She's very much pantomime.
She has that moment where
Scrooge McDuck.
she's like, I'm here to make money, not to make people happy. And then
And she's
I
like,
want
but
to
it's
kill a dog.
Christmas.
It's the opposite of save the cat, kill the dog.
Yeah.
Bad guys kill the dog, good guys save the cat, you know?
100%. She's an evil woman. And I feel like maybe she'll get her comeuppance later on. I hope she does.
I imagine so. I mean, there are gremlins out and about, aren't
There are who knows how many gremlins after they've cocooned out and about.
Oh yeah, so this film is actually full of references to other movies. There's a time machine in the background that's the time machine from, I think, the movie The Time Machine.
Yeah.
So 1960s film, so it's the one I recognise from Futurama with the big like spinning wheel and
Imagery of the Gremlins and the cocoons, that's what I'm going to call it.
It's like Alien.
Yeah, you made the reference that they looked like the ones from Alien, which they do, and I think you just say it came in
Yeah,
about 8 years.
like 5 years
5
after, I think. So this is 1984, and I think Alien was like 1979. So yeah, it's probably, I think that's what they're doing on purpose. There is a parody film. They're taking all these aspects from other horror films and from other
Yeah,
movies.
because that's
and
very
just putting
creepy.
them in.
Like, in the middle of one, they are organised. How are these gremlins organised? Because, like, they start, like, making loads of noise and they wanders off. And then they huddle together and start whispering. And I'm like, oh, no. That's not okay. They're organised. They know what they're doing.
I think it's quite funny because the idea of a gremlin, I didn't really realise this. I thought it was like an old English folklore thing, but apparently it's sort of from the RAF. The partial origin is planes malfunctioning.
Oh, really?
And they would put it down, they call them gremlins, like bugs that have gone wrong with the machinery. So gremlins tampering with the stuff. So you know that episode, that Treehouse Horror episode, The Simpsons, where there's that gremlin that's like clawing at the
There's
bus.
a gremlin on the side of the bus.
Yeah, exactly, trying to claw at the side of the bus. That's that whole premise, that there's these little monsters that break your machinery while you're not looking. So that's like the core premise of it, which I think is a cool idea. These little, they're almost like unthreatening, but also there's something unsettling about them, and the fact that they like tamper with human life without you realizing, or just a little like
I think
evil
it's the fact,
chatter.
they seem really sweet, but there's certain bits of it. So
They're very
I
fairy
don't know how
tale
they do it.
evil.
Yeah, they managed to trick Billy into feeding them after midnight by pulling out his clock at 11:30. So he assumes, and I didn't register that until the next day, and then I was like, oh my god.
I thought they were gonna like hold some chicken back till after midnight.
That's what I assumed. I was like, they're going to hold some back. No, they just knew. But then, yeah, Gizmo is adorable though, because he speaks.
Yeah, he's sort of like, thank you. Way, like he just mumbles words back.
So the difference between Gizmo and them is so amusing. So it did make me wonder in the film, is if when you get Gizmo wet, is that his evil coming out? He like casts out the evil in some way. I also wondered what would happen if you put him in a bath. Would he just turn into like a gazillion of those things?
I don't know, I've wondered, yeah, I'm not sure. There are other Gremlin films as well that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
There is a Gremlins 2, which I think is meant to be more of a parody of like Hollywood sequels, whereas this one is more of just a parody of other horror films and Christmas films. But I think it's a good light-hearted, like, saying it's horror, it's not really horror, is it? There's like...
No, it's not horror. It's kind of, as you say, it's
Kids
a parody.
could watch this.
It's a parody to horror. It's
Yeah.
funny.
not
My big
scary,
thing is
though.
though, like his dad's already given him these 3 rules, and what is it? Within a day, he invites his 12-year-old friend over, but that's an issue in itself, and puts him next to a glass of water.
And he spills the water straight away.
I mean, if anyone is to blame throughout the whole film here, it's the kid in the shop with his granddad, because his granddad said no, and the kid was like, nah, I'd rather have $200 and just let people die.
Yeah, but his granddad does seem a bit weird and also stupid that he's not selling anything. He's got this underground shop that just sells strange oddities. Why was he keeping the gremlin in the shop anyway?
Maybe it was his. Maybe he didn't want to sell it. Maybe it's because he knew that stupid people would do the 3 things they're not meant to do, and they've essentially done all 3 of them.
I always wonder when I watch films like this, like how many of the tropes in it, like where they originated from, like the Chinese sort of fortune teller old man
Of
that
wisdom,
sells you,
yeah.
and has this old forbidden East Asian stuff that we don't understand, that as Westerners or the Americans are just like, of course they're gonna have a strange creature called a mogwai. Like, why wouldn't I question that? Why would I
A
question
lot of
that?
people do not question this ball of fuzz that they've never seen before. They're just like, oh yeah,
That's
that
a cute
mogwai.
animal,
You're
yeah.
like, no. How have you not heard of these things before, people? Get a bit of perspective. But yeah, I did really enjoy it because I don't know how to explain it. It feels like it slowly turns from a Christmas film into a bit of a horror film. It doesn't feel like there's a snap
Yeah.
and it's changed. But it's kind of, because they start off so innocent, you're like, yeah, he's just got 5 extra. Cute. But then they start doing things, and then once they eat and they like go into their little chrysalis.
They have their little alien pod that they come out of, then
Oh
like
my
all
gosh, yeah. And then when you
scaly.
see a picture of like the first one, you're like, I kept saying to us, like, it's going to come out, it's going to be scaly, it's going to be gross. Oh my gosh.
Well, I knew what they looked like. So.
Yeah, I've never seen that one before, so I've seen pictures of Gizmo.
Yeah, but you've
Before
never
this.
seen the evil
I've
gremlin.
never seen a picture of evil gremlin. Which actually, I now feel a bit insulted because you call me a gremlin all the time. And now I know that that's what that looks
It's
like.
the way
I'm
you
actually
go.
very insulted.
It's the way you go. That's why you're a gremlin. The way you're always sabotaging things I do. That's what it-
Slightly insulted now.
And when you're hungry, like
Yeah, but I can eat after midnight. Yeah, they are very creepy, and as frustrating it is to only watch the first hour, because we got to the point where the mum had just started her like fight with them.
yeah, it's
And
quite
I
good
wanted
actually.
to
Yeah.
know what happens next. I think it would be very dark.
The fact that you didn't know what the Gremlins look like is quite good, I think, because they hold you in quite a lot of suspense as to what they do look
I
like.
didn't think it was going to be, I thought it was going to be longer until I found out what they looked like, because they were very good with the camera angle of just either giving just a hand
Yeah.
or a shadow, so you didn't quite know what they looked like, which means when you did have the big reveal, the suspense had been killing you the whole time. It really builds up in that scene to when you see him, is it in the kitchen eating gingerbread?
Yeah, I
That's
think
the
that's...
scene, I think
Oh,
that's
no,
the
you see
scene.
him in the cupboard, open the cupboard,
Oh,
that's the
sorry,
first one you
yes.
see.
It's a very suspenseful moment, and you're kind of like, am I going to see what it looks like? Is it going to be what I think it looks like?
Yeah, and the first time you see one, it jumps out, so you don't actually get that long of a good look at it, but...
Which I think really plays into the horror aspects of it, is that kind of jump scare
Yeah.
in the fact that you are waiting and waiting, and you know what's going to happen, but the back of your brain's like, it's going to be fine.
Do you know what I've realised? What I really like about this film, actually, it's kid horror. That's what it is. I'm
You
always
love
going
a
on
bit of
about
kid horror.
'cause, well, this is the thing. I don't like going to the cinema or watching a film to be scared. I don't
Yeah,
like that
no.
emotion. That's not a nice thing, and I don't want to actually go away and have nightmares or be paranoid about some dude breaking in or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to
Yeah.
actually be scared. Whereas I quite like some of the concepts of these fanciful creatures or the sense of some peril, and that some of the ideas that horror can conjure up can create, I think, really interesting stories. And I think Gremlins does a really good job of a horror story that you could show to a kid. Like, that is a scary story, like these little monsters come out and they kill people, but it is still very theatrical, like when
Yeah.
there's the science teacher gets killed by one of the gremlin. He was sort of experimenting on it, taking its
Again,
blood.
side note, don't experiment on stuff. It never ends well. And it's really cruel. Like,
Yeah.
you knew the moment you started experimenting on it, I was like, this is going to come back to bite you in the ass.
But then at the same time, he's just taking blood. Like, you do that for loads of animals and stuff. It's not exactly that controversial. But anyway, the way he gets killed, well, you don't see how he dies, but he's just got the needle stabbed in his bum, and it's like, would that kill him? Probably not.
No,
but...
I think that was just an after thing of see how it feels.
Yeah, but it is quite funny as well. And like I say, I think this does a good job of that. It's got some little bits of violence. Maybe later on in the film, I don't remember if there are more
Yeah.
violent scenes.
I think
in it,
overall
but
so far it
show
very
to a kid.
much is a great film. And as you say, it is that kid's horror, but I think the whole family would enjoy it because the characters are very easy to relate to in a way. And having these cute things is just such a great premise because they automatically draw you in. And the fact that they change, it does become more of a horror, keeps you intrigued. I think if it was just Gizmo turning evil, you'd be like, oh, it's just...
Yeah.
But the fact that they physically change and they're, well, organised, which is creepy, really hooks me in and keeps me wanting to watch.
I think as well, it seems like the filmmakers had a lot of fun with the film. Like, we're just seeing the fight. The mum basically is home alone making gingerbread men, and the gremlins all hatch and start having chaos in the house. And she has a little battle around the kitchen and stuff with them.
Oh my
and
gosh,
she's
yeah.
got like a knife in one hand and a tray in the other as a shield. And it's just quite a fun like fight scene kind of.
Oh my
I think.
gosh, yeah.
And the way they're quite clever in the way that the dad's this inventor and he makes all these kooky machines. And
That never work.
Yeah, and she's using them to kill the gremlins.
Clearly, that's what they're good for.
Yeah, it's good.
Not for cracking eggs, for cracking gremlins.
I also think the fact that Dad's this quirky inventor is also just quite a fun bit. You know, he goes to a convention, like I said, the time machine's in the background. He's got like an automatic hammer, which I was like, hang on, that was in The Simpsons. Did
Simpsons, yeah.
Simpsons rip that from... This is the thing, I never know, like, what was the original thing to have the automatic hammer?
Yeah.
Well,
If
I'm
anyone
sure...
knows, do let us know. Tweet us.
Yeah, tweet. Who invented the automated
Automated
hammer? I think it's a great idea. Yeah, I just think it seems like there's a lot of fun in the film. It's not like a laugh out loud comedy, but it is a fun movie that's
Yeah.
got some good comedic bits and a
I
lot of
100%
background
agree.
stuff.
Yeah.
But you were enjoying it then?
I was very much enjoying it. The suspense is a kind of, it's not like, I don't know, Paranormal Activity where you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? It is in that child's horror remit, which means that you kind of know what's going to happen. You know it's probably going to be fine, but it still gets you a bit enough that you're staring at the screen like, what could possibly happen next? And I think because it is so diverse, it could go many ways.
Also, they're clearly
And I
not scared of
enjoyed that.
killing people off either, so they're
Yeah.
having some fun with that.
Okay, so it's turning into Game of Thrones. They have no fear with who they kill.
But like I say, it's sort of silly and pantomime, so... But
100%.
maybe to tie into Die Hard,
Yeah, I was
though,
about to say,
They're both very 80s actually.
Yes, because Die Hard was 1988. So that's
The
it.
perms in Die Hard, my God, the hairstyles.
So tell
Why
me,
did women think that was an okay thing
it
to
was the fashion of the time. So yeah, tell me, what did you think of Die Hard? Because I found it very hard just to watch the first hour because you want to know what happens next.
Yeah,
So tell me.
I was really enjoying it. It doesn't piss about either. Like it gets right into the action. I have seen bits of it before. Like I said, I've seen Alan Rickman strutting his stuff in it.
Oh, I love Rick.
And he's does a great job. I think yeah. The funniest thing about it for me was a lot of it's very much of its time. Like I say, the fact that he's just like all the women are like, hello there. Especially when like I think it's probably they see he's got a gun. It's like some phallic power play thing. Like ooh, man with a gun, and he's always perving on these like really younger women. Do you know what? It seems to me like an interesting like take on the changing in society at that time because the wife has joined a foreign company, a Japanese company specifically for an American audience. That's probably even more important because the Japanese were exporting a lot of cheap consumer electronics at the time, and their companies were going bigger and able to compete with American companies that previously had effectively had monopolies over the market. And even with their large tariffs, the Japanese were still able to import into America. So I think that adds a lot to it. Also, the fact that women are now in the workplace, and she makes a point of the fact that she takes her maiden name because it's a Japanese company and they're quite conservative about these things. So probably they would see her as a married woman. Hey, why aren't you taking care of the kids? Like that's what Japanese women would do. Whereas she's sort of this new American 80s high flyer. A lot of the people that she works with, they're really dedicated to their jobs and their careers. And
Which shows because it's Christmas Eve and they're having a party then.
Yeah, exactly. That's madness. Utter madness. And she's got a Spanish, I'm guessing like Latin American babysitter, right? And yet John McClane, is it McClane?
Yes, John McClane.
He represents more of an old school American hero, I guess, like dirty crime in New York. I'm a policeman. That's a real job. I'm a policeman. I've got a gun.
I can't just leave.
Yeah, I can't just leave. I've got commitments to America and the main
New York,
place.
she
New
needs
York,
me.
she needs me. And he's really macho male.
I mean, it's Bruce Willis, of course. It's
Exactly,
macho
and he's looking at all these younger women, but he's still got the family like back home. It's kind of like a weird. What's the word? I feel like it's a harkening back almost to a mystical "Make America Great Again" time almost that probably never existed, right? Where men could be men and they fight bad guys with guns and things, and that's sort of a little bit of the fancy of it. And I'm not saying that as a critique of it. I just thought it was an interesting take. But yeah, I was having a lot of fun with it. It's a real roller coaster.
I was about to say, it doesn't wait. It's very much straight in there the moment he gets in the building. And I think I kind of like the little, I suppose nuance is not the right word, just the little things of, because he was on the aeroplane, the guy was like, oh yeah, if you hate flying, once you get to your destination, take your shoes and socks off, walk around on the carpet, curling up your toes, which is why he now spends the whole film barefoot.
Oh yeah. I didn't think that was yeah, that's a good point actually.
Because he doesn't have time, because obviously the moment he's getting changed is when the bad guys come in, and he happens luckily just to be in a back office kind of freshening himself up after the flight.
Does that curling your toes thing work?
I don't know. You don't like flying. Maybe we'll try this next time you fly.
But I'm always fine once I've landed, so I don't really see the issue.
I don't know. I think maybe it just tries to ground you. I don't know.
Get you off jet lag.
But yes, so he's in the back office, which means he's able to escape. And as it says, it's one man, 12 terrorists.
Yeah, it's an easy, simple premise. It's just these German guys have gone
want
into
bearer bonds.
Yeah, they want bonds. They go in. They take hostage all of these employees for this Japanese company. It's in this big high-rise building. They've clearly planned it out for a long time in advance. They're trying to break into this vault, and John McClane is a police officer who happens to be there visiting his wife and gets embroiled in it all, and is now the only person really capable of doing anything about it.
Yeah.
And he's do you know what? He's kind of the gremlin in the perspective of his film, isn't he? He's going around like sabotaging things, picking them off one by one. It's a good, straightforward action movie with a very nice, simple premise that happens to be set at Christmas.
Yeah, it's a very easy premise. You're like, yep, I understand why he's got to do. All I know is this is what he's got to do. He's got to get from A to B. He's got to kill some bad guys. Is he going to do it? And like, there are multiple times he tries to call the police. And I don't know if this is saying something about the police at the time in Los Angeles or because it was Christmas Eve, but no one believed him. The woman on the phone was like, this is for emergencies only. Here's gunshots, and just goes, just then one police car to go check. You know, and you're like, good
Totally.
God, woman.
But the thing is, you could believe it, couldn't you? The bureaucracy of it. I'm going to have to file a complaint against you.
He's like, file one then. Send the police to me. I think this as well is a bit in that style of, maybe it is Game of Thrones. They don't care who they kill because, like, they get the CEO in and he's just
Oh,
like,
yeah,
oh,
that's
yeah,
good.
no, I can't tell you the code. You'll have to kill me. And Hans goes, okay, then.
Yeah, that was good. That was setting of the stakes, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's the point of that shot. I also didn't realise, though, when he puts that guy in the lift, John McClane beats up a guy, puts him in a lift, and you were like, oh yeah, he's dead. I didn't think he was dead. I thought the whole point was that he just like beat him up and put him
No,
unconscious.
he fell down the stairs.
Falling down the stairs doesn't kill
It does
most
when
humans.
John McClane falls on top of you and snaps your neck.
That shouldn't kill you. He fell down the stairs. Obviously dead.
Yeah, they were
Obviously
concrete
fatal.
stairs.
Fatal
If we push you
staircase
down
fall.
concrete stairs, I guarantee you'll probably die.
I hope. Depends how many stairs. But if he was going to kill him, why didn't he just shoot him? He had the opportunity to shoot him.
I don't know, maybe
And then
he
he
didn't
just
want to.
gets into a scuffle with him. But
But to be fair, I like those because it kind of, as you say in Gremlins, that it creates that change in which John McClane isn't just killing people and then moving on. He's then taunting the people because he sends him down dressed up in Christmas gear, this dead
Oh,
guy in
yeah.
the lift, with just and he's written on his shirt, what is it? I have a machine gun now, ho, ho, ho.
that's great, actually. That's good.
And that is definitely
Because that's
tormenting
that's
them.
also like not a stupid thing to do, because you might think, why would he like provoke them? But he wants them to know in a way that he's there messing up their plans, because he kind of wants to slow them
it
down.
flusters them.
And flusters them.
And it does, because the guy he kills is someone else's brother, who then completely disregards the plan and Hans's directions, and essentially goes off the radar to really try and kill him, which ultimately ends in his downfall, because he's just acting on vengeance, not logic.
I also kind of like the fact that although John McClane's wife is one of the hostages, he's not really doing it because he's not like, I'm strong, I've got to save my wife. No. It's not like that. He's just, I'm a policeman, I've got a gun, I'm in this place, I should do something
I'm the
about
only one
this.
that can do this. I
Yeah.
should do something.
It's not, I need to save my wife.
It's very Bruce Willis.
Which I think is good. I don't remember what happens at the end. Maybe if we finish it, I want to find out if he like gets back with his wife or not. I feel like it shouldn't end with him getting back with his wife. You see what I mean?
Yes.
But maybe it will. We'll see. Don't spoil it for
I'm
me.
not going to spoil it for you because I do want you to carry on watching it. But yeah, I think a lot of it is set up really nicely. The fact that they're on, like, what is it, the 30th floor out of 40? As you say, the plan has been so well mastered that it just works. Even when the policeman walks in, they have a fake security guard there who's acting so nonchalant. It's like, yeah, have a look around. Nothing's off.
Yeah,
When
it's good as
actually
well that they
you'd
got a
be
guy.
freaking.
I feel like that guy was also there because he's the guy that can do an American accent,
Yeah.
which I thought was quite good. Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of lift shafts as well in this. There's a lot of sneaking through lifts and
Yeah,
vents.
it's John
and things.
McClane sneaking through 40 floors of a building.
It's good. It's I'll go through some of the notes I took because I put, why do all the women love him? He's got a receding hairline.
He does
Doesn't
have
look to be
receding
like the
hairline.
most obvious alpha
Because
male.
he's Bruce Willis.
But
he's
I think
alpha.
that's it. That's what I was going to say. It's harking to this, like, if you're a real man, you get the girls. If you're a real dude, you don't need all the money like these fancy guys working for the Japanese. You just got to have a gun and a gruff attitude, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, smoking in an airport and a gun on a plane.
I mean, this
What
was the
hell?
1980s. This was before everything changed.
Yeah, before 9/11, I
Yeah,
suppose.
everything
so-
changed. Everything became a lot more stricter then. I'm assuming it was natural, but I suppose it wasn't an international flight. He was flying from New York to Los Angeles, so I don't know if the rules are...
It's also just
The gun
seems
rules are
so
different in
weird.
America, if they were at the time, or if they're still the same, if they've changed
No,
now.
I imagine it would just be the premise would be he was a policeman, so
Policeman.
it's fine. But it still seems mad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Also, why do people do this in films? It always bugs me. People hang up from phones in films
Without saying
without
bye.
saying bye. It really stresses me out. The mum has a chat with her nanny, and she's just like, "Oh, what would I do without you, Mrs. Paulina?" Slam. What
And
would
then Mrs. Paulina's like, learn how to say bye.
Yeah, what would you do? Tell us what we need to. What would you do without Mrs. Paulina? Say bye. You're so rude. Oh, it was so yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just flustered about how rude she was
Yeah,
to
she
Paulina.
was very rude to Paulina.
Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to mention was, again, talking about like tropes in Gremlins and stuff, where the original one was. Where is the black hacker guy? Is Die Hard the first thing to the black hacker guy? Because I think it was Chris.
I don't know.
Chris from Full Fat Video. Will he mind me calling him out? I was chatting to him the other day, and he was saying that like the black hacker guy trope is in loads of kids stuff, like Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Fillmore. Don't know if you ever watched that as a kid.
I didn't watch Fillmore, but that's got Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah.
Has AJ. There were a couple more examples he gave me, but there are at least like 5 or 6.
Jurassic Park.
Does that have like the tech nerd?
Yeah.
Is he a black guy? Yeah. It's weird. I wonder where that's come from. That like kind of token black guy is also token tech guy.
I don't
like
know.
where those. I really want to know what the first one to do that was, and if everyone else is copying it, or if it's just coincidence or what. But I thought that was kind of funny that. He's also quite cool the way the baddies are cool as well in this.
They're just so nonchalant. They're so overconfident.
Yeah.
They're just like, they're so smooth.
Yeah, they are smooth. The way they just like vault over things. Vaulting is cool.
Vaulting is cool.
Like when you just slide down some rails or vault over a railing or over a
Super
desk. Cool. That just makes you cool. That makes you badass.
Going the wrong way over something essentially is cool. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, it's not designed to do that. How dare you? It's not designed.
I think there's one
something
thing,
I would never do.
Yeah,
basically.
something you would not do because you would fail.
Whoa. I just meant because I'm law-abiding and a good boy, not because I'm kind of capable.
I think it's also because you're incapable. There is one thing I want to mention that you won't have noticed yet, but will come up later that's not a spoiler.
Okay.
Is if you notice, which you, admittedly you won't know, in all the shots when Bruce Willis is in hearing shot, whatever it's called, with Hans, he never sees his face.
Oh, what? He never meets the main baddie?
No, well, up until this point, he's heard him in the lift. He's heard him when he shot the CEO, but he's never seen his face.
Okay. Is that significant to the plot?
Yeah, you'll realise when we get later on that you're like, oh my god. But yeah, I didn't realise this until watching it back, and because I know like the ending and stuff. But I was like, oh, that's so clever. It's like the smallest thing.
Yeah, that's good.
That is really interesting. Also, a random fun fact is that Alan Rickman, when he did this, couldn't fire a gun without blinking continuously. So you'll notice in the film, if he does fire a gun, he'll either do it from behind or it'll be a quick thing because he's constantly blinking. I think it's like, just flinching, essentially.
Yeah.
It's reaction shot.
Do you know what? I would hate to be in a film with where you've got to fire fake guns at people because there aren't many stories of it, but there are stories about people dying from like a real gun was put in place. No, yeah, what was the story? There was a guy who got killed on a film set, quite famous, young guy, basically real gun was used instead of a fake one. And it would just spook me that.
That would spook me.
Just because, even though they're so unlikely, right, but the fact that it like makes a bang and looks like it, that would scare, that would spook me. Not just because if someone was pointing at me, but also like if I had to point one at someone that wasn't very clearly plastic.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, go on then. Overall,
yeah, I was having a great time. And you know what? The hour flew by as well. I was thinking, how is this film going to be like 2 hours long? It's such a simple thing, but the first hour really goes by very quickly.
So you don't think they were trying to cram too much, or they were prolonging things?
I don't think they were. No, I don't feel like they were pulling it out too long at all. Because they had a lot of little touches about. They seed in the fact that his marriage with his wife isn't working even before that, just by the way that they're both having sort of like looks at other people. So and I think stuff like that does add a lot to the story. It's not entirely necessary, but I think it helps flesh out these people and understand a bit more who they are, so that we can sympathise with them better when they're in these times of peril.
I think because it gets into it so quickly, you have to have those one-liners in which you learn basically what that character is. It's like her, well, not boss, but whoever she worked with, who's like, hey, show him your watch, and then just goes, it's a Rolex. Yeah. And you're like, okay, so you're a dick.
Swore again.
Swore. If you have to say it.
Yeah, exactly. Also, just like, is it that impressive that you have a Rolex? Nice one, mate. Good one.
Good one.
Cool. Exactly. No, I think it does a really good job of that, and I was having a lot of fun with it. And obviously, it's a classic action movie.
Oh yeah, shooty, shooty, bang, bang, classic.
And I just think, from what I've seen so far, like,
is it worth it?
Yeah, I have to say, of course it is.
New Die Hard.
As a Christmas movie, though, maybe I should be addressing it as a Christmas movie. There's not that much Christmas in it. It is set at Christmas, and there are references to Christmas in it. It is overtly at Christmas. It's not just like
I'd find it weird watching it in July, I feel.
Would you?
Yes.
Does actually make that difference?
Yep.
So it is overtly at Christmas. Whether it's a film that makes you feel Christmassy, I don't know if I could say that. But
well, no.
Great action movie. I'm having a lot of fun. I want to finish it. I want to know how it ends. I'm hoping it doesn't stall and the action keeps up and it doesn't feel stale by the end. But other than people holding their guns by their waists, which stresses me out, other than that, I thought it was great. I was having a lot of fun with it. I think the villains are great. I think they're very cool. John McClane, like I say, he's just a bit of an American badass, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Again, I'm curious to know if he gets the girl, and by gets the girl, I want to know if he gets a young bimbo or his wife back, or neither, or the job. Maybe he's married to the job, actually.
It's the job he wants.
But yeah, I'm going to say yeah.
Oh,
So
nice. I knew it. It's okay, our relationship's safe.
brilliant.
For now.
Oh yeah, I forgot the stakes were so high. I was there like, maybe not.
Nah, maybe it's not for me. No.
So Gremlins then, less on the line here. I like Gremlins, but I've only watched it years ago.
I
So-
really want to know what happens next. It really grips you from the beginning. It's definitely worth it for me.
Sweet.
Because, yeah, from the moment it grips you. And I think because it's only an hour and 45 minutes, and the premise is sort of set, it really gives it time. It didn't feel like it rushed into it too fast. I feel like that's how it differs from Die Hard. But it feels like it goes at a nice steady pace where you establish what the gremlin is,
Yeah.
you establish how it changes, and then once it changes, you're then left with the repercussions, and you're like, how do they solve this? Which surely they're going to with one of those 3 rules, I'm assuming. But there has to be chaos, has to ensue first. The stakes have to be higher.
Yeah.
I
think
really
that broke
hope the
down to
dog
the time.
survives.
Yeah, I've been thinking about
If
the
the
dog.
dog doesn't survive, oh my gosh, because they went after the dog. They hung it up with Christmas lights, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're trying to hang the dog.
When they're torturing Gizmo, that's really sad as well. They like pin him to a dartboard.
Oh my gosh, they pin him to a dartboard. I was like, Gizmo, no!
So it sounds like you're invested. Then.
I am extremely invested in it now. I really want to know what happens. You know, I've only got 45 minutes left.
We'll have to do a follow-up episode where we talk
Maybe that'll
about...
be our next one, because after this, guys, admittedly, we are taking a break for a bit. You know, we both have families to go back to, Christmas drinks to be had.
Obviously.
So we won't be back for a few weeks, but don't worry. If you keep up with us on social media, we will still be posting. And maybe actually this is a great time for you to send us in any recommendations you have for us to watch, which would be great. We'd love to be able to do an us versus you, and you tell us something that would be great
Yeah.
to watch. It can be anything. Hopefully we won't have seen it before, though.
And maybe in the new year we'll get some special guests on as well.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have some special guests. So if you have anything you'd like to talk about, do get in touch.
Yeah.
That would be great. And yeah, don't forget to follow us on social media. If you did like this, give us a follow, a like, a subscribe, and maybe even a 5-star review because it's Christmas and you're feeling generous. So guys, thank you for listening this week.
That was great. We both agreed, both loved our
I know,
films.
first time ever.
That's
so,
not the first time. We
so.
have. No, you're a liar. You're a liar, Emily. No, we both agreed on Supernatural and Castlevania.
We did. So yeah, thank you so much, guys, and Merry Christmas from Trust Me, It's Worth It.
Bye.
Trust Me, It's Worth It is produced and edited by Emily Giles and co-hosted by Michael Griffith Dixon.